Welcome to the JAMODI podcast. We are all surrounded by amazing coaches and leaders. So let's get an inside look at not just what they do, but how they do what they do. After all, becoming the best versions of ourselves is JAMODI, just a matter of doing it. The JAMODI podcast is powered by Sideline Interactive. Sideline Interactive is the leading manufacturer for high-quality, innovative scoring tables and LED video display boards that help coaches and schools bring more excitement to fans, create huge fundraising opportunities, and make their jobs easier. Visit sidelineinteractive.com to check out their amazing products. One thing you said earlier, it was about you defensively and offensively, you're asking your guys to be ultra aggressive and you're not necessarily pulling them back, you're wanting them to just push forward and go really hard. I think sometimes coaches will hear that and think of in terms of like discipline. In discipline, you want to start really hard, like discipline within your program, discipline in the classroom. Start really hard because then it's easier to pull back. But I think it's interesting because when they think of your style, they might think that it's just helter-skelter. There is no discipline. When you're talking about them being aggressive, it's with running hard, taking chances, shooting it, but not necessarily like there's no discipline, right?
Yeah, no. My group is super disciplined. It just on video it don't look like it, but we're disciplined, especially in practice. And if I have a deep bench, then we're even more disciplined. And what I mean by that is sitting on the bench is the key word on trying to get my point across.
Yeah.
You can rep everything, you can talk everything, but if a kid doesn't play, it kind of stings a little bit more. So, but at the same time, we are disciplined in our style, but we're probably not disciplined compared to somebody else's way of, philosophies and what have you. But we're disciplined in what we do.
Do you feel like with the offensive defensive style you have that you're creating enough speed in a game to where the opponent is really getting tired from it?
Yes, we bank on that. So most people scout us. We're kind of hard to emulate our defense unless you got like 7 dudes out there or what have you. It's just like Jim Boeheim when he had a 2-3 zone. When people went to Syracuse, it's a little bit different. They don't get to see it every day. Same concept with us. You don't get to see that pressure every day. If you have a really good point guard, I hope you have 2 because and for 40 minutes you better be in really good shape.
Yeah.
Or your shooters. You probably have really good shooters, but are they in the right frame of mind and their legs? Can they keep up with it? The 37-minute mark. Can they still shoot that thing? And then can they guard? Can they guard that fast? Because you're going to have to guard that fast. So you utilize, your leg strength and your fatigue and your stamina to play the way we play. And do you do that every day or not? There are a lot of good shooters that incorporate really good conditioning drills within shooting. And then there's a lot of them that just, get on the gun and shoot 1,000 shots, standing still. So we do bank on that a little bit. And then sometimes we play like the Division I. Sometimes we'll slow them down with our press, especially on missed shot. A lot of people, I was listening to Preston. He's the assistant coach at Arkansas Little Rock. And he was talking in Memphis the other day too. And he was talking about, because his thing is transition offense. He's the opposite of me. He's very passionate of that. And I love to score, but I love to score through defense. But and he was talking about their five out and their spacing and their outlet passes. So he shot a lot of film on some NBA players on where they catch the outlet pass on a made bucket, let alone a missed bucket. And those are, hash mark or, wing 40 feet out would be the perfect outlet for really good guards. Otherwise, you're coming back, to get it. But we try to get that outlet pass below the free throw line.
Yeah, in your head, you're watching that going, never going to happen.
Nope. They're going to go to like a quarterback. They got to go their second look.
Yeah.
Because we played a really good point guard. I can't remember his name. He was really good. He was a pro. He's playing pro now, but he was big time. But right hand dominant. So our Cobra would shadow him. Every shot go up, we're shadowing that dude. So there was no more outlet passes the way they played all season. He wasn't working with freedom. He wasn't working with space. We ended up losing because their whole team was good, but we held them 25 points underneath their points per game, and they scored a lot in transition. And so just those adjustments, and again, we scout, so we tweak our stuff. But, when we made it to the Elite Eight, you're playing 5 games in 6 days. We're running the exact same thing every day. Where we don't change, you're going to have to change your game plan from game to game.
Yeah. A lot of confidence is gained from that.
Yeah. So it kind of helps consistency and repetition and what you see as a team every single day. We don't change.
Yeah.
And so if somebody, like most people are traditional, they'll run traditional quick hitters into whatever they're into shot clock. When they do their quick hitters, so they're going into a shot clock at this level, most of them are going to go into a ball screen. Now we're back into trapping and rotating. So you're not going to be able to execute your stuff. If you do, you're probably at the 22-second mark running your stuff and the timing, and it's hard to get 5 dudes on the same page anyways.
Yeah.
But now we're adding to the 17 seconds. So we're taking off timing and spacing and all that. So all of that to say that we're do the same thing every day, but we're going to take you out of your stuff and vice versa. It's going to be hard for you to prepare for us, but it's still easy to scout us.
Yeah. You had an interesting point about they were really good, so they beat us. I think sometimes when people are thinking of playing faster offensively or defensively, they're worried, can we win doing this? Well, yes, some of the time, maybe more than some of the time. All the time, like go undefeated, I don't know. I don't know what style really helps you to do that unless you have the best horses, you have the best players. Or people ask me, how would, like, defensively, what's really good to do against you? And I said, well, if they're bigger, faster, stronger at every spot, then they guard us one-on-one and they don't help. And what do you do against that? We'll probably lose that game. Like, I hate to sound like that as a coach, but then there's a reality to that. What you do is really great, and it'll give you a really good chance to be competitive and win, but not every night, right?
Right. No, I've never gone undefeated. So we've won a lot of games, but we've always lost some too. I've only had one losing season in 12 years, and that was the first year I started this program from scratch. And I got it in the end of July. And we had to put everything together, from getting basketballs to jump ropes to socks to it was everything plus the squat.
Yeah.
But to that point, we were almost different. So my mind is bigger, faster, stronger. We're gonna junk up the game. And so when we're going to the we're at the Elite Eight. We're playing Mid-American Christian. They have a 6'10" Texas Tech transfer, a 6'7" Drake transfer, a 6'5" point guard, like Middle Tennessee transfer, 2 big-time shooter, mid-major Division I transfers. Like, they were loaded. You should have seen our layup line. I mean, there was men over there, and their smallest guy was like 6'5", like 210. And then you see us. My biggest dude was 6'6", 185. And we're 6'4", 6'3". We're just tiny. And then my point guard's 5'7", who Darian Brown played for me, who went to Newman Smith. He was really good. And then my other shooting guard was like 5'9", from San Antonio. And we ended up losing by 13. But you would have looked and seemed like this dude's about to get blown 30.
Yeah.
But we jumped it up so bad that it fit us.
I think it also circles back to kind of what we started talking about, which is the internal fortitude, like, that you have to have as a coach, to, even if it doesn't go well in one game, we're not going to abandon this, fellas. Like, this is who we are. This is how we play. I think I played for a guy in college that I felt like every time Coach Bliss came down the stairs, he was going to have a new offense or a new defense, because of how poorly we did the last game. But the danger with that is you're constantly changing, but never actually growing and building an identity. But with what you do, it's, hey guys, we fell short yesterday, but we're close. Let's just adjust, get a little bit better here within our style. But they get to still have a style and believe in it.
Yeah, I'm sure at some of my halftime speeches, I'm sure I've said stuff like, I will lose this game the way I want to lose this game. Just to sell out and let them understand, reiterate, like, I'm not changing. Either you're going to change and get better at this, or play harder, or compete, or whatever, or you don't play. So we're sold out, and obviously you got to have more dudes that want to do it than not. Otherwise, I've been pretty lucky, knock on wood, that my best players have been high motor kids, Division I transfers that get it and play. And I'm a transfer guy anyways, just with the portal and how our scholarship situation is. But you got to have guys that play like that. So you got to recruit to that style. High school is y'all are the best coaches in America, because y'all are almost like that. You might have to year to year change. It's hard to, depending on who you have, and you might have to adjust to your players. Like, it's my fault if we have to adjust our style and what we do, because I recruited those type of players.
You brought them here, so
yeah,
they better be able to do it. That's a good point. And I think the danger then for us as coaches is being too extreme in any direction. Because if you have a year or two where it's just a little dry, you got an unathletic class, 2 in a row, no, like little bit of very little size or athleticism, shooters just aren't there. Even though you're trying to build them, if you have this system that's super extreme, that I like the Grinnell style. I don't know. Like, do you run the risk of trying to force your players to do something that they're just not capable of doing? So there is this idea of, like, as a high school coach, the system I love to teach and I'm passionate about, but then it also is reasonable for our players to be able to execute. That's a fine line.
Yeah. You got to be a little bit more flexible than college coaches, probably most likely, because again, we get to handpick them. And then, high school coaches, you're dealt with the cards you got. And I think you still got to believe in your basic beliefs and teaching points and what you're passionate about, but sometimes you might have to tweak it a little bit.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.